It was a bright Monday morning. The company's big hall was full. Every worker was there. The managers were sitting in the front row. Even the boss himself, Mr. Richard King, was standing on the stage. He looked serious. Everyone waited. Something important was going to happen. No one knew what. People whispered to each other. "Why did the boss call everyone today?" one man asked. "Maybe someone will get promoted," another woman said, but no one knew the real reason. Then Mr. King cleared his throat. "Silence," he shouted. The hall became quiet. You could hear a pin drop. Mr. King's eyes searched the crowd. Finally, he pointed his finger. "At you, Sam, come here," the boss said loudly. Everyone turned to look at Sam. Sam was standing at the back of the hall. He was an old man, around 55 years old. His clothes were old but clean. His shoes were simple. He always kept quiet. No one ever talked to him much. He was just a helper in the office, a low worker, the man everyone ignored. Some workers laughed. "Why him? Did he make a mistake?" Sam slowly walked to the front. His face was calm. His eyes were kind. But no one noticed this. Mr. King looked at him with anger. "I have something to say to this man," the boss said in a loud voice. The room was quiet again. "Sam!" Mr. King shouted. "You do not belong here. You are nothing. You are just a simple cleaner, a helper. You are useless in this company." The workers gasped. No one expected such cruel words. Sam stood quietly. He looked at Mr. King without fear. Mr. King continued, "You think you are smart? You think you matter? You are just lucky to have this job. Without this job, you are nothing. Poor, small, useless." Some workers looked at each other. They felt bad for Sam, but no one said a word. No one stood up for him. Sam still said nothing. He stood straight. His eyes were shining, but not with fear, with something else, something strange, something that made a few people feel nervous. Why was he not afraid? Why was he smiling? "Why are you smiling, old man?" the boss shouted. Sam gently smiled. "I am smiling, sir, because the truth always comes out. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, very soon." The boss laughed. "What truth? You have no truth. You are nothing. You will always be nothing." Mr. King shouted. The hall was silent again. Everyone felt strange. Why was this simple man speaking with such calmness? Why was he not begging for his job? Then Mr. King made the biggest insult. "Listen, everyone," Mr. King said loudly. "I will make this clear for all of you. Sam is only here because I have been kind to him. But now I am tired. After this week, he will be gone. Fired. Out of this company. I don't want to see his face again." Gasps filled the room. Fired after 15 years? He gave his life to this company. But why fire him like this? In front of everyone, whispers filled the room. Sam did not move. He quietly took something from his pocket. It was an old photo, a small, worn picture. The workers near him saw the photo. It was a picture of a young man shaking hands with another rich man. Both were smiling. The rich man in the photo was not Mr. King, but he looked like him. No one understood. Sam smiled at the photo. Then he said softly, 15 years. I waited, but now the time has come." The workers were confused. The boss laughed again. "Stop showing old photos. It means nothing," Mr. King shouted. But some managers near the stage were not laughing. They looked closely at the photo. One old manager whispered, "Wait, that man in the photo. That is the old owner of the company, Mr. Edward King, Richard King's father." The boss froze. He looked at the photo. His face changed. He stepped closer. He grabbed the photo from Sam's hand. He looked carefully. His eyes opened wide. "No, it cannot be," Mr. King said softly. Everyone in the hall watched. "What is it, sir?" one worker asked. Mr. King said nothing. He gave the photo back to Sam. His face turned pale. He looked nervous, but Sam was still calm. "Soon, sir. Sam said gently. Soon the whole truth will be told. The real story of this company, the real story of my life, and your life. The workers felt something strange. What was Sam talking about? What secret did he know? What truth? Mr. King turned to the crowd. Meeting. Over, he shouted quickly. Everyone back to work, now! But the workers did not move. They wanted to know more. They wanted to hear Sam's story. But Sam put the photo back in his pocket. He turned slowly and walked away. His smile was quiet. His eyes were full of secrets. The hall was silent. Everyone felt something big was coming, something that would change the company forever. One young worker whispered, "Who is this Sam? Why does the boss look so scared?" No one knew the answer. But in the next meeting, they would learn the truth that would shock everyone, the truth that would change everything. Forever. After the strange meeting in the big hall, everyone in the company was talking about Sam. Who is he really? One worker asked. Why did the boss become so scared after seeing that photo? Another whispered. For years, no one cared about Sam. He was just the quiet helper, the man who cleaned the floors and carried files. But now, everyone wanted to know his story. Sam was sitting alone in the small storage room. His hands gently held the old photo. He smiled softly. Soon, he whispered, they will all know who I really am. Long ago, Sam's life was very different. He was not always poor. He was not always small. 15 years ago, Sam was a rich businessman. He owned many things, houses, cars, companies. People respected him. They called him Mr. Samuel Edwards, the smart young businessman. But one day, everything changed. One rainy night, Sam got a phone call. His best friend, Mr. Edward King, called him. Edward was worried. Sam, I need help, Edward said. I made some mistakes in the company. I may lose everything. Please, save my business, my family, my son. Sam thought for a moment. Edward was like a brother to him. He decided to help. I will give you control of my shares, Sam said. You can fix the company, but promise me. Take care of the workers. Be honest. Be good. Edward agreed. The next day, Sam signed all the papers. He gave his part of the company to Edward. He trusted him completely. For a few years, everything was fine. The company became big and successful again. Sam left the city. He wanted a quiet life. He helped poor people. He lived simply. But then Edward died suddenly, and his son, Richard King, became the new boss. Richard was not like his father. He was greedy, he was cruel, he cheated the workers, he lied to the board, and he broke the promise Edward made to Sam. When Sam returned to the city, he saw what happened, but it was too late. Richard had hidden the truth. He told everyone that Sam was just a helper, a nobody. He gave Sam the lowest job in the company, and Sam accepted it. For 15 years, he stayed silent. He cleaned floors, he carried files, he waited. But now, the time had come. In the small storage room, Sam opened an old envelope. Inside were the original papers, proof that he was once the true owner, proof that the company was partly his. He also had letters from Edward, his old friend. In the letters, Edward begged Sam to return one day and take his place again. Sam smiled. I waited because I wanted to see if Richard would change, Sam thought. But he did not. He became worse. Now, I will show the world the truth. The same time in the boss's office, Richard King was very nervous. He walked back and forth. How did that old man keep those papers? I thought they were gone, Richard said. His assistant, Mr. Clark, stood quietly. Sir, if those papers are real, then Sam can take the company back, Clark said softly. Never, Richard shouted. I will not let that happen. He is just an old fool. No one will believe him. But deep in his heart, Richard was afraid. He remembered when he was young. He saw his father and Sam together. His father always said, "Sam is a good man, a better man than me." Richard felt jealous. He hated Sam. That's why, when his father died, Richard lied. He told everyone that Sam was just a worker. He gave Sam the lowest job to humiliate him, but now the truth was coming back. Richard sat down. I must stop him. But how? He thought. Meanwhile, in the lunchroom, the workers were still talking about Sam. Maybe he was the real owner long ago, one man said. I think the boss is afraid of him, said a woman. Did you see his face? He looked pale. Another worker said. Everyone's eyes were now on Sam, the man they once ignored. Later that day, Mr. Clark came to the storage room. Mr. Sam, the boss wants to see you, he said quietly. Sam smiled. Of course. I was waiting for this moment. He stood up, took the old envelope with him, and walked slowly to the boss's office. When Sam entered, Richard King stood up. Sam, let's talk, Richard said with a fake smile. Sam sat down. He placed the envelope on the table. I have waited 15 years, Richard, Sam said softly. Now the truth will be known. Richard laughed nervously. Come on, Sam. Why now? You could live quietly. Why make trouble? Sam smiled kindly. Because you broke your father's promise. You lied to the board. You hurt the workers. I can't stay silent anymore. Richard's face turned red. What do you want? Money? A big house? I'll give you anything, Richard said quickly. Sam shook his head. I want nothing. I only want justice. Tomorrow at the meeting, I will show these papers to everyone. Richard froze. He knew it was over. Sam stood up. Prepare yourself, Richard. The truth cannot stay hidden forever. Sam walked out. The workers in the hall watched him. They whispered, Tomorrow, something big will happen, they said, but no one knew what. Not yet. The next day came fast. Everyone in the company was excited. Whispers filled the office halls. People could not stop talking about Sam and the strange photo he showed yesterday. Did you see the boss's face yesterday? He looked scared, said a young worker. I heard Sam has secret documents. Maybe he owns the company, another one whispered. No way. Sam is just a simple cleaner, said a third worker. But deep inside, even he was not sure anymore. For 15 years, everyone ignored Sam. He cleaned their floors. He carried their files. He said little. No one asked about his life. But now, all eyes were on him. Sam walked slowly to the big hall. He held a brown envelope in his hand, the same envelope that made Mr. Richard King so afraid. Inside were the secret papers, the old company contract, the letters from Edward King, the original ownership papers, all proof that Sam was once the real owner of the company. As he passed by, workers stared. Is it true? They asked softly. Sam only smiled, gently, and said, You will all know today. In the boss's office, Mr. Richard King stood by the window. His hands were shaking. Clark, he shouted to his assistant, call the company's lawyer, now! Mr. Clark came running. Sir, the lawyer says if Sam shows those papers to the board, you could lose everything. The company will belong to him again. No, Richard shouted. I worked too hard for this company. I will not let him take it away. But, sir, Clark said carefully, you cheated him 15 years ago. These are the original documents. You have no chance to win. Richard turned red with anger. Then I must stop him before the meeting, Richard said. I'll offer him anything, money, a house, a car. He's old. Maybe he wants peace. But, sir, what if he says no? Clark asked. Richard's face turned cold. Then I will make sure no one sees those papers. Back in the hallway, Sam was going to the meeting room when two men in dark suits stopped him. They smiled, but their eyes were not kind. "Mr. Sam," one man said, "the boss wants to talk to you before the meeting, in private." Sam looked at them calmly. "Tell your boss I will see him in front of everyone, in the meeting," Sam said. The men frowned. "It would be better if you talk now. The boss can make you rich, very rich. You can retire. You can buy a nice house." "Just give him those papers," Sam smiled kindly. "Young man, I had all the money in the world once. But I lost my friends. I lost my honor. I will not lose that again. Now step aside." The two men stood silent. Sam walked past them. The whole office watched. Even the managers came out of their rooms to see him. The big hall was full again. The workers, the managers, the board members, everyone was there. Mr. Richard King stood at the front. His face was white. His hands shook. Sam entered, holding the brown envelope. The room became quiet. "Good morning, everyone," Sam said gently. All eyes were on him. "For 15 years I stayed silent. I watched this company grow. I watched the new boss treat workers badly. I saw the promises broken. I cleaned floors. I carried files. But I was not always a cleaner," Sam said softly. People leaned forward. No one blinked. Sam opened the envelope. "These are the real documents of this company," he said. 15 years ago, I gave my shares to Mr. Edward King, your old boss. He was my friend. He promised to run this company with care and honesty. He promised to give it back when the company was strong again." He held up the old letters. "These are his letters to me. He begged me to return and take my place again. But when he died, his son Richard took control. He lied to you all. He told you I was just a helper. But the truth is, I am still part owner of this company." Gasps filled the room. The managers looked at Richard. The board members looked angry. Richard stepped forward. "This is nonsense," Richard shouted. "Lies! Those papers are fake!" Sam gently handed the papers to the board's lawyer. "Please check these, sir. They are real." The lawyer opened the envelope. He read the papers. His face changed. "These are the original papers," the lawyer said slowly. "They are legal. Mr. Sam is telling the truth." The room exploded in noise. "He owns the company?" "All. These years, he was the real boss. What will happen now?" Richard turned red. "Wait! I made this company great! I worked hard! You can't do this!" Richard shouted, but the board members stood up. "Mr. King, you lied to us. You broke the trust. You will face the law for this," one of them said. Sam stood quietly. "I don't want revenge," Sam said softly. "I want this company to be honest again. I want the workers to be treated with respect. I want peace." A young worker stood up. "Mr. Sam, will you be our new boss?" she asked. Sam smiled. "I don't want power. But I will help guide this company. I will help choose the right leader, one who cares for all of you." The workers cheered. Mr. Richard King sat down, his head in his hands. He knew it was over. The truth was out. Sam turned and smiled at the workers. "For years you ignored me. But now you see the truth. Never judge someone by their clothes or their job. You never know who they really are." The room was full of respect. The man they once ignored was now the man they all admired, and this was only the beginning. Richard King sat quietly in the big meeting room. His face was pale. His hands were shaking. For the first time in many years, he felt small, weak, and afraid. The room was still full of people, workers, managers, and board members. But now, no one looked at Richard with respect. No one smiled at him. They all looked at him with anger and disappointment. One board member stood up. "Mr. Richard King, you lied to this company for many years. You broke promises. You cheated." "Mr. Sam, and you treated your workers badly," he said in a strong voice. "From this moment, you are no longer the CEO of this company." The room became silent. Richard's mouth fell open. He could not speak. He could not believe this was happening. "But I made this company rich. I worked hard. I deserve this seat," Richard shouted. Another board member shook his head. "No, Mr. King. You did not build this company. Mr. Sam and your father saved it long ago. You only took credit for their work. Now the truth is known. You are finished." Richard looked at his assistant, Mr. Clark. "Do something! Help me!" Richard whispered. But Mr. Clark did not move. He just stood there, looking down. He was ashamed of his boss. Sam stood quietly at the side. He watched everything without anger. His face was calm. "I don't want revenge, Richard," Sam said softly, "but you must face the truth. You broke your father's promise. You treated these people like dirt. You turned this company into a place of fear and sadness." Richard felt weak. His legs shook. He sat down heavily. "What will happen to me?" he asked in a soft voice. The board leader spoke. "You will leave this company today. You will return all company property, and you will face a full investigation. If you broke the law, the court will decide your punishment." The workers in the room cheered. They were finally free from the cruel boss. Richard put his head in his hands. He felt broken, lost. Everything was gone. His power, his title, his respect. Sam looked at him kindly. "You had everything, Richard. A big office, a strong company, people's trust. But you wanted more. You wanted power without honor. That is why you lost everything." Richard said nothing. His mind was full of fear and shame. The board leader turned to Sam. "Mr. Sam, we are sorry. We treated you badly. We never knew the truth. Will you help us make this company better again?" he asked. Sam nodded. "Yes, but I don't want to be the CEO. I want someone honest and kind to lead. I want the workers to have a voice. I will guide you, but I will not sit in that big chair." The workers clapped. They liked Sam's simple, humble heart. A young worker raised her hand. "Mr. Sam, why did you stay silent for so long?" she asked. Sam smiled gently. "I wanted to give Richard a chance to change. His father was my friend. I hoped Richard would become a good man, but he chose greed. I could not wait any more. I had to protect this company and all of you." The workers felt respect in their hearts. Sam was not only a wise man, but also a kind man. Suddenly, Richard stood up. His face was red. "You all think Sam is a hero?" he shouted. "He left this company. He gave up. I was the one who worked hard. I made the money. You are all fools to listen to him." But no one agreed with him. The board leader pointed to the door. "Leave, Mr. Richard King. Your time here is finished." Richard looked around. No one supported him, not even his assistant. His shoulders dropped. His pride was broken. Slowly, he walked to the door. Before he left, Sam spoke one last time. "Richard," Sam said kindly, "it is not too late to become a better man. You can still change. But first you must face the truth." Richard said nothing. He opened the door and left the room forever. The workers cheered again. "Thank you, Mr. Sam," they shouted. "You saved us all!" Sam smiled. "This company belongs to all of you. Together, we can make it a place of honesty, respect, and peace." The board members agreed. "We will choose a new leader soon. But from now on, the workers will have a say. No more secrets. No more lies." Everyone felt hope in their hearts. For the first time in many years, the company felt warm and safe again. Later that day, Sam walked alone to the rooftop. He looked at the sky. The wind was soft. The city below was busy as always. Sam closed his eyes. "My old friend Edward, I kept your promise." "I saved the company," Sam whispered. A small tear ran down his cheek. It was not a tear of sadness. It was a tear of peace. For 15 long years, Sam waited for this moment. Now the truth was free. The company was free, and Richard King, the boss who thought he was untouchable, had lost everything. Sam opened his eyes and smiled. The news of Richard King's fall spread fast. Everyone in the company, even the office boys and kitchen workers, talked about it. "Did you hear? Mr. Richard is gone. He lost everything," said a young worker. "I still can't believe it," said another. "All this time, the real owner was Mr. Sam, the old cleaning man, and we treated him like nothing." Now, the big question filled the air. Who will lead the company next? The company board members called for an emergency meeting. Everyone gathered in the big hall again. The mood was different this time. There was no fear, no tension. People felt excited. They wanted change. They wanted hope. Sam stood at the front, again. The brown envelope was gone. The truth was already known. Now, he had something more important to give: guidance. One of the board members spoke. "Mr. Sam, you are the rightful owner of this company. We want you to become our new CEO. Will you take the seat?" The room waited for his answer, but Sam smiled gently. "No," he said softly. "I do not want to be CEO. I am old. I have done my part. This company needs young, fresh ideas. It needs someone who cares, not about money, but about people." The workers whispered among themselves. They were surprised. Who would say no to such great power? "Then who should lead us, Mr. Sam?" asked the head of the board. Sam looked around the room. His eyes stopped at a young woman standing at the back. She was the same worker who spoke to him during the meeting, the one who asked why he stayed silent so long. "You," Sam said, pointing kindly at her. "What is your name, young lady?" "Me?" she asked in shock. "I'm Lisa. I work in the marketing team. I'm no leader." Sam smiled. "Lisa, I have watched you. You speak with honesty. You stand up for others. You care about your team. You are not afraid to ask questions. This company needs someone like you." Lisa's face turned red. But I'm just a junior worker. I'm not ready. I can't be CEO." Sam shook his head. "Lisa, leadership is not about age or title. It's about heart. It's about courage. You have both," the board members whispered. One stood up. "Mr. Sam, this is unusual, but maybe it is the right time for a new kind of leader. Someone from the workers, someone who understands them." Another board member nodded. "I agree. Lisa has fresh ideas. The workers trust her. And we trust your judgment, Mr. Sam." The workers began to cheer. "Lisa! Lisa! Lisa!" they shouted. Lisa stood frozen. Her hands shook. "I don't know if I can do this," she said softly. Sam walked over to her. He put a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You are stronger than you think, Lisa. You have us. You are not alone. I will guide you. The board will guide you. The workers will support you. Together we can make this company great again." Tears filled Lisa's eyes. She took a deep breath. "Okay," she said finally. "I will try. I will be your leader." The room exploded with joy. People clapped. They laughed. Some even cried. For the first time in many years, the company felt alive again. One worker stood up. "Lisa, will you promise to treat us fairly? Will you listen to us?" he asked. Lisa smiled. "I promise. No more secrets. No more fear. We will work as one team. Every voice will matter. Together, we will build something better." Sam smiled. Proudly, the board leader stood. "Then it is decided. From today, Lisa is the new CEO of this company. Let her lead us into a new future." Cheers filled the room again. Later, in the quiet of his small office, Sam sat alone. He looked at an old photo on the wall, himself and Edward King, smiling. "Long ago when the company first started," "We did it, old friend," Sam whispered. Your company is safe now, in good hands. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Lisa walked in, holding some papers. Mr. Sam, I want you to stay. As my guide. As my mentor. I can't do this alone, she said softly. Sam smiled. I will stay, Lisa. I will help. But remember, you are the leader now. Trust your heart. Trust the people. They believe in you. Lisa smiled back. I will try. I will make you proud. And I will make this company proud. Outside, the office buzzed with excitement. Workers cleaned their desks with smiles. Managers shared new ideas. The air was full of hope. Far away, in a lonely apartment, Richard King sat by the window. He saw the news on his phone, pictures of Lisa as the new CEO, Sam standing beside her, happy workers smiling. Richard sighed. I lost everything, but maybe I deserved it, he whispered. For the first time in years, he felt something strange? Regret. I could have been like Sam. I could have been better. But it was too late. Or was it? Richard closed his phone and stood up. Maybe I can start fresh somewhere else, he thought. Maybe I can change. But no one knew what he would do next. Back at the company, the future looked bright. Lisa sat in her new chair, not the chair of power, but the chair of responsibility. Around her stood her team. Sam stood proudly at her side. A new chapter had begun, and this was only the beginning. Lisa sat in the big CEO chair for the first time. She touched the smooth desk and looked around the bright office. Everything felt new, strange, and a little scary. I can't believe this is real, she thought. Yesterday I was a simple worker. Today I am the boss. But Lisa remembered. Sam's words, trust your heart, trust the people, you are not alone. Suddenly Sam knocked on the door and came in. Good morning, Lisa. How are you feeling today? He asked kindly. Lisa smiled nervously. I feel worried, Sam. What if I make mistakes? What if people don't listen to me? Sam smiled gently. Every leader feels like this on the first day. But you have a strong heart, Lisa. You care for the workers. That is the most important thing. Lisa took a deep breath. You're right. I want to do the right thing. And I want to make my first decision today. A big one. Sam's eyes lit up. Oh? What decision is that? Lisa stood up. I want to meet every worker, every single one, from the office to the kitchen to the factory floor. I want to hear their problems, their ideas, their dreams. This company belongs to them, too. Sam clapped softly. Good choice. A real leader listens. Let's arrange it. Soon, news spread like fire across the company. The new CEO wants to meet every worker. People were shocked. No CEO had ever done this before. Richard King never cared to speak to the workers. He only talked to the rich board members. But Lisa was different. By the afternoon, she stood in the factory hall. Workers gathered around her, curious, surprised, excited. Hello, everyone, Lisa began with a warm smile. I am not here to give orders. I am here to listen. Tell me what makes your work hard. Tell me what can make it better. No fear. No lies. The hall became quiet. Then an old factory worker raised his hand. Ma'am, we don't have enough safety gear. Last week my friend got hurt. No one listened when we asked for new gloves and helmets. Lisa wrote in her notebook. That's not right. I promise you. We will fix this. Every worker's safety is important. Another worker spoke. We work long hours, but we don't get paid extra for overtime. Richard King made us stay late, but never gave bonuses. Lisa frowned. That is unfair. From now on, all overtime will be paid. You work hard. You deserve your pay. The workers smiled. For the first time, they felt like someone was really listening. In the kitchen, the cooks gathered around Lisa. Miss Lisa, the kitchen is too small for so many people. We need more space and better tools, one cook said. Thank you for telling me. The kitchen will be expanded. You feed us all. You deserve a good place to work, Lisa promised. Everywhere she went, Lisa listened carefully. She wrote everything in her notebook. She smiled. She thanked them, and she promised to bring real change. Sam watched from the side with pride. She is doing well, he thought. She has the heart of a true leader. By the end of the day, Lisa was tired but happy. She returned to her office and opened her notebook. The list was long: safety gear, overtime pay, kitchen expansion, better restrooms, fair promotions. So many problems left by Richard King. Where do I start? She whispered. Sam walked in with 2 cups of tea. Here, Lisa. You need this, he said, smiling. Lisa took the tea and sighed. Sam, this company is broken. There are so many problems. How can I fix them all? Sam sat down. Not in one day, not even in 1 month, but step by step you will change things. Choose one big problem to solve first. The rest will follow. Lisa thought for a moment. Safety, she said. If the workers are not safe, nothing else matters. Tomorrow I will order new gloves, helmets, and safety jackets for everyone. Sam nodded. Good choice. Safety is respect. The workers will see you care. Lisa smiled. I also want to raise the overtime pay. They work so hard. They deserve more. Sam laughed softly. 2 big decisions in one day. You are brave. Lisa laughed too. I want this place to feel alive again, Sam, like a family, not a factory. Sam nodded, proud. That is the spirit that built this company long ago. Edward King, your old boss's father, would have liked you. Lisa finished her tea and stood. Tomorrow we start fresh. A new company. A new family. The next morning, a surprise letter was placed on every worker's table. New safety equipment and overtime pay increase. Starting today. The workers cheered. Laughter and smiles filled the factory and offices. Hope returned to every corner of the building. Lisa is the best CEO ever, someone shouted. Even the old security guard smiled. Finally, someone who cares, he said. Lisa stood in her office looking out the big window. She saw the happy workers. She felt peace. Sam came in, holding a newspaper. You are on the front. Page, he said with a smile. Lisa looked. The headline read, Youngest CEO brings big changes. Workers celebrate new leadership. Lisa laughed softly. Far away from the busy company building, Richard King sat alone in his quiet, empty apartment. The room felt cold and lifeless, just like his heart. He stared at the newspaper in his hand. The front page showed Lisa smiling with the workers. They looked happy, full of hope, full of life. She changed everything. In just a few days, Richard whispered sadly. His phone lay silent beside him. No calls, no messages, no friends. Richard sighed deeply. I had everything, he thought. A big office, power, money, and I threw it all away. He closed his eyes and remembered the past, the faces of the workers he had ignored, the voices he refused to hear, the fear in their eyes when he shouted. I treated them like dirt, like they were nothing, but they were everything. I was blind. A soft knock came at the door. Richard opened it slowly. His old friend Tom stood there, the only friend he had left. Hey, Richard, Tom said gently. Can I come in? Richard nodded and stepped aside. Tom looked around the sad little apartment. So this is where you've been hiding, Tom said softly. I saw the news. Lisa is doing great. The company is alive again. Richard sat down heavily. I know. She's a better leader than I ever was. She listens. She cares. The workers love her. Tom sat beside him. You can't change the past, Richard. But you can change yourself. It's not too late. Richard shook his head. No, I hurt too many people. I don't deserve another chance. Tom leaned closer. Maybe. But what if you went to the company? What if you said sorry? What? If you told the truth? Richard froze. Face them? After all I did? Tom smiled kindly. Lisa is a good person. Sam is wise. The workers have big hearts. Maybe they will forgive you. Maybe not. But you have to try. Richard felt something strange in his heart, a tiny spark. Hope. Could I really say sorry? Could I change? Tom stood up. It's your choice, Richard. But hiding here forever will only kill your soul. Richard looked at the newspaper again. Lisa's smile. The workers' joy. Sam's proud face. I don't want to be this broken man anymore, Richard whispered. I want to be better. I want to fix things, even if they don't forgive me. Tom smiled. Then go, Richard. Tomorrow. Face them. Say the words you never said. That night, Richard could not sleep. He thought of every cruel word he had spoken, every unfair order he gave, every good worker he fired without reason. Tears filled his eyes. I was a fool, he whispered into the dark. A selfish, blind fool. The next morning, Richard put on his old gray suit. It felt loose. He had lost weight. He looked in the mirror. His face was tired, older, but his eyes were different now, softer. This is my last chance, he said to himself. He took a deep breath and left the apartment. At the company building, workers filled the halls. The air buzzed with joy. Lisa's new changes had made life better. Smiles were everywhere. Suddenly, the elevator door opened. Everyone turned. Their smiles faded. It was Richard King. He stepped out slowly, looking nervous, ashamed. Whispers filled the air. Is that Richard? What is he doing here? He looks different. Richard felt his heart pound. His hands shook. But he kept walking. Sam stood by the entrance. He saw Richard and raised an eyebrow. Mr. King, Sam said softly, I didn't expect to see you here. Richard stopped and lowered his head. Sam, I came to talk. To you. To Lisa. To the workers. I came to say sorry. Sam's eyes softened. Come with me, he said kindly. They walked to the main hall. The workers gathered, whispering. Lisa stood at the front. When she saw Richard, her eyes widened. Mr. King, she said in surprise. Richard stood before them all. His face was full of regret. His voice shook. Everyone, I know I have no right to speak here. I know I have no right to ask for anything. But I came to say the truth. The room became silent. I was a bad leader, a cruel man. I disrespected you. I ignored your voices. I cared only for money and power. I forgot you were people. With hopes, dreams, and families, I was wrong. Tears filled his eyes. I lost everything because I deserved to, but now I see clearly. You are the heart of this company, not me, not my office, you, the workers. He turned to Lisa. You are a better leader than I ever was. You saved this company. You saved them. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa felt her heart soften. She saw the pain in Richard's eyes. He was telling the truth. Richard turned to Sam. And you were the real owner all along. You stayed silent for the company's sake. I was blind to your kindness. I am sorry, Sam. Sam smiled gently. I forgive you, Richard. The past is gone. The future is yours to change. Then Richard looked at the workers. I don't expect your forgiveness, but I hope you can believe I want to change. I want to be better, even if I never return here again. A quiet moment passed. Then an old factory worker stepped forward. Mr. King, you made our lives hard, but today you spoke from the heart. Maybe you can change, like this company changed. Another worker nodded. We believe in second chances. Lisa gave us hope. Maybe you can find hope too. Lisa smiled softly. Mr. King, you are welcome here, but not as a boss, as a man who wants to be better. We all make mistakes. What matters is what we do next. Richard felt his heart break and heal. Thank you, all of you. I promise to become a better man, he said softly. The workers clapped gently. Sam smiled. Lisa nodded. For the first time, Richard King felt peace. A new beginning had started, not just for the company, but for him too. But what would he do next? A new chapter was waiting. The sun shone brightly over the company building. It was a new day, a day full of hope, full of change. Lisa stood by her big office window looking outside. The factory below was busy. Workers laughed, talked, and moved with energy. The sad, quiet factory that once felt cold and lifeless was now full of life. She smiled. A soft knock came on her door. "Come in," Lisa said. Sam entered with a small smile. "Good morning, Lisa," he greeted. "A big day today." Lisa turned, curious. "What's special about today, Sam?" Sam smiled wider. "Richard King is here again. He wants to talk to you." Lisa raised her eyebrows. "He came back?" she asked in surprise. Sam nodded. But this time, not as the old Richard King, as a man who wants to work, like everyone else. Lisa felt her heart soften. "Bring him in," she said kindly. A few moments later, Richard King entered the room. He wore simple clothes, no expensive suit, no golden watch. He looked like an ordinary man now. His eyes were calm, his face gentle. "Good morning, Lisa," he said softly. "Good morning, Mr. King," Lisa replied. Richard smiled sadly. "Just Richard now. No, Mr. King. I am not the boss anymore. You are." Lisa smiled. "So, what brings you here, Richard?" Richard took a deep breath. "I want to work here. Start fresh. Not as a leader. Not as a king. As a simple worker. I want to learn. I want to fix what I broke. In myself." Lisa looked at him for a long moment. "Are you sure, Richard?" "The work will be hard. No special treatment," Richard nodded. "I want it that way. I want to understand what I never saw, what I ignored for years. Only then can I truly change." Lisa stood and shook his hand. "Welcome to the team, Richard. You will start in the warehouse, packing boxes, like everyone else." Richard smiled for the first time in many years. "Thank you, Lisa. I am ready." Word spread quickly through the company. "Richard King will work in the warehouse." The workers were shocked, but also impressed. "He's really changing," they whispered. "He's not acting like the old boss anymore. He wants to learn." Richard arrived at the warehouse in simple clothes. The workers stared at him, but there was no anger in their eyes. Only curiosity. The old factory worker who once complained about broken gloves now stood beside him. "Need help, Richard?" he asked kindly. Richard smiled. "Yes, please. I don't know how to do this job. Will you teach me?" The worker laughed. "Of course. We all start somewhere." Slowly, Richard learned how to pack boxes, how to lift carefully, how to keep the place clean, how to respect every small task. His hands became rough, his back ached, but his heart felt lighter with every day. Lisa watched from the window and smiled. Even the worst man can change, she thought. Sam stood beside her. "You gave him this chance," he said softly. "You gave all of us a new life." Lisa shook her head gently. "No, Sam. We gave each other this chance. Together." Soon, the company changed even more. New machines arrived. The kitchen grew bigger. The safety gear was the best in town. Wages became fair. Overtime was always paid. The break rooms were full of soft chairs, good tea, and smiling faces, and something else changed, too. The hearts of the people. No one feared the boss anymore. Because the boss, Lisa, was a friend. a leader with kindness. One day, the workers gathered in the big hall. Lisa stood at the front, Sam beside her, Richard in the back, in his simple clothes. The oldest worker stepped forward. "Lisa," he said loudly, "we want to thank you. You gave us respect. You gave us hope. You made this company a family." Everyone clapped. Sam smiled. Richard wiped a small tear. Lisa raised her hand. "Thank you all," she said warmly. "But this is not just my work. This is your company, your home. We did this together." Then Lisa turned to Richard. "And this man who once made mistakes is now one of us, because everyone deserves a second chance." Richard stepped forward shyly. "I was blind, I was proud, but you forgave me. You let me learn. You gave me a new life. Thank you." The workers clapped kindly. Richard smiled, truly, smiled, for the first time in many years. A camera crew came that day. They filmed the happy workers, the clean factory, the smiling faces. The story spread across the country. The newspaper wrote, "From cruel boss to humble worker, a company's beautiful change."